So for those are the C cuts. We're going to go through a T-push because a lot of kids, especially little ones, they have to T-push to get across the crease. How many coaches see this? And I guarantee you probably every single one has seen this. And T-push, am I right? Right? You see this big lunge? It's not efficient. Right? We're not balanced. It takes too long. So when I tell the kids small bites, whenever we T-push, we take small bites. So instead of doing that big lunge extended, right? It's very quick. You're going to open and close that hip. It's very quick. Your eyes lead in everything that we do. So do your hands. Wherever my eyes go, my hands go. My eyes go this way, my hands fall. Eyes here, hands fall. Here. Right? I'm balanced. I'm in control of my body. I'm not in my lunge. Does that make sense? Are you guys comfortable with that term, small bites? So do an extended one, extended T, but that one. Small bites. Small bites. The more efficient, he's more mobile. And that's just a little tidbit that you can pick up if you're doing these drills, just to make sure that they're being efficient and moving.
You say small bites? Small bites.
Okay.
So what? How do you, like the small kids?
Yep.
How do you expect them to cross the net without doing that lunge?
That lunge is tell them to stay balanced.
Okay.
Basically, stay on top of their hips. As soon as they go, kind of over their hip, they're off balance on these. So if you guys get across the crease, say I'm moving from angle 1 to angle 5, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
Right? So here. Hold on. Okay, so stay over it. It's still do the drag. Yep. Staying on top of your hips, staying more upright. See more control of your body.
I mean, I don't expect my 10U to cross that same every time, but make sure we're doing it the right way.
We'll get into the crease movements a little bit. I'll show you guys a little trick that you guys can practice on your goals. So the shuffles, right? So that's the T. Is everyone comfortable with the T-push? We all good? Good. Is there any questions so far? Anything? You can ask me.
Yeah, I hate to say it, you almost, you want to watch me. It's one thing for me to teach it, but if I can't even do it myself. Well, I mean honest. So like what you're saying is I look first, eyes first. That, okay, that's, well, I don't want to make sure though. Okay. Eyes first. Yeah.
So another, like for the younger kids, even the older kids, you tell them your stick blade follows your eyes, and I always say attach a string from your eyes to the stick blade to the puck. You have 3 points of contact. Wherever that puck goes, my stick and eyes are going to get followed. Right? If that puck gets past east-west, I'm following with my eyes. Everything in goaltending, for me anyway, my personal belief, starts with the eyes. If we can't see what's happening, if we can't track the puck, we can't do our job. We'll get into shuffles. See a lot of kids do this. Right? They'll shuffle, come up. Shuffle, come up. I call it a bob. So you see your goalie doing that, say, hey, don't bob. They should be ready for a shot at all times, keeping their head at level. What happens if I'm here and I'm trying to track the puck, right? And I come up and down, well now my sidelines kind of getting screwed up, and it's going to be harder for me to track that shot just because I'm bobbing as I go. So they should be in a stance, nice and loaded, called loaded, in their shuffle. For the older guys, you can tell them to not have as much weight on their front leg. The reason why is because we have all our weight on our front leg, we have to shave so much ice to get there. If we have more of our weight in our back leg, in our push, and less weight in our front leg, we're going to have to shave less ice to get to our spot. So if I have weight in my front leg, it's going to look like this. And I have to actually dig in that ice to get to where I want to be. If I have my weight in my back leg, right, it's more efficient in my movements, and it's a longer push.
You guys should pick that front foot up.
A little bit, yep.
A little bit, right?
Yeah. It's like a step and push. So you're not chasing so much ice, you're not stopping yourself. Try it. Go to the red line. Face yourself. There. they're both efficient in their movements. If they would have their weight in their front leg, it probably would have took them 2 or 3 extra pushes to get to their spot. Are there any questions with that? So are we all comfortable? If you guys are doing Edgework, you can tell your goalies to do their warm-up, which if I work with all of them, they'll be doing this warm-up every single day. Are you guys comfortable with knowing what to look for at this point?
So you're going to jump and you want them looking at it, then they jump it?
Yep.
Yes, you can.
So what's crazy habits that we should look for? Like you see most of the time either older or younger kids that you're going to see in this warm-up that we do.
So a lot of lazy habits is not a big emphasis on a hard stop. So we're doing those C cuts, you see a lot of kids do this. Get there, get to your spot. It's got to be a hard C cut and a hard stop. Right? Emphasize that stop. Emphasize that stop. The other big one for me, especially in a T-push, is one of these. Right? The hands back, I'm lunging, I'm not being efficient in my movement. And their hands always come down, right? Active hands, elbows in front. You'll see them as they start to get tired or they start skating a little more, their hands will just kind of come down to their side. Or their hands might come back. Or their hands might be up here, right? It should be neutral, nice and neutral. And it's going to get tiring for the kids. So one of the things you guys can do, especially with the younger goalies, is when you stand, make this one. T-push. Your left. Look first. So if you see a kid and their hands are getting lazy, you just go over and put your stick on there and say, it's $300, don't drop it. Right? Is everybody comfortable with that? Yeah. That answer your question?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So now we'll get into, how many of you guys know how to teach the butterfly? Kid gets a butterfly and is getting beat. High glove. Are you guys comfortable in understanding of how to teach that at all? Alright, so I'm going to use you as an example. Get a butterfly right here. So what do you think in your mind? Right? So if he's sealing right now, he doesn't need to be sealing at all.
Active hands. On top of the puck.
Right, so that's that little active hand, right? Everything we do with our goalies, we want 1 or 2 words just to get the information out for them to retain it. We don't want to sit there and say, oh, I think your glove's too low, you need to bring it up about 6 inches. No, active hand, right? And they should automatically know our elbow should be right in front and our hand should be, and I always call it on top or over our puck. So if they're getting beat high, you're going to say, hey, stay on top of your puck. Get over your puck. And it'd be the same thing when they're sliding. Can I see a puck? When they're sliding. From here, when they're sliding, I say get on top of your puck, get over your puck. That first movement is going to be the eyes. Right? So he's tracking. I always say track down on top of your puck. Track down on top of your puck. What that means is, as goaltenders were always taught, when I was younger too, to look at this half of the puck, right? Well, what's bigger, this or this? Top, right? Track on top of your puck, track down. So what helps them do that is tuck your chin, right? So their eyes are literally on top of that puck. So their hand needs to be there too. So as they slide, it's going to be that head, right? That head. We're leaning into it, so lean, right? Lean into your pucks. Hand needs to be right on top. The reason for that is the puck wants to go high in the net. The angle, the trajectory is this. So if I can smother that angle closer than trying to get it back here. Because this save is the same as making this save. Does that make sense? Are there any questions on that?
You're on top of the pucks.
Get on top of your puck. Stay on top of your puck. And even their butterfly, right? So, get up real quick. For a basic shot, go down, I haven't shot yet. We'll go down early, right? We'll go down early. Hard for him to stay on top of his puck if I shoot high glove from this standpoint, right? Because now he has to reach up.
What do you mean by go down early?
So, like, you know, when you see a player's coming in and you see the goalie already go down,
Yeah.
right? So now they have to chase up.
Okay.
And it's harder to make a save when we're chasing up. So what I like to say is get up, stay on top of your puck, and shoot high glove, right? When you come down on it, okay? So he didn't catch it, but as you can see that movement of his hand, he's literally coming down on top of it. It's easier to make a save, easier to control, and easier to track. Any questions on that?
Can you do that one more time?
Yep. Stand up, high glove, come down on your butt. Okay, one more time. Ready? Stop. Don't move. Don't move. Is that a good save? Is that a good save? Is that a good save, coaches? Is that a good save? It is not a good save. Does he have a low seal? So how often in games is there traffic? Pretty often, right? So if I take that shot with traffic and he goes to track it into his glove, but his teammate or a opposing player tips it and goes through his 5-hole, that's an issue. That's a bad habit, right? You need to have full ice seal every time I make a save.
Full ice seal, as in both pads down.
Put your pad down. Both pads down, full ice seal.
Full ice seal.
The reason why is we're not worried about the first save. I'm worried about if we make our second save. I'm confident they can make the first save, but are we in a good position to make that second save? And if your leg's up, I tell you to push to your right. Say that rebound, say the rebound pops out here, keep your leg up, and I tell you to move to that puck. What do you have to do? Bring your leg down anyway. Just go back. Bring your leg down. Say he makes that save and it pops out for some whatever reason, and I say go. Now he's in a good position to make that second save. You see your goalie making save with one leg up, it's not good enough. You have to have a full ice seal. That makes sense. Awesome. Is there any other basics that you guys are wondering about while we're talking?
When should they initiate the butterfly?
What do you mean?
I see a lot of players go down fast, like before the shot.
No, time it, right? You gotta come down on top of your puck. As the shot's taken.
As the shot's taken.
If they can read it, I want them to try to hold their edges. And you can challenge your goalies too. Like what I do with my goalies, especially the older ones in UAA and Wolverine, is the first warm-up drill, I say you're not butterflying at all. The reason for that, and we'll go into the depths later, and I always say, you got a conservative depth, you're not gonna butterfly. Warm up your hands, warm up your eyes. The reason for that is I want them to get comfortable holding that edge, staying on their feet, and being able to reach for pucks, anything here. Right? Anything here we should be able to use our hands. The reason why the Finnish goalies are so good is because they catch everything. For the longest time here in the States, we've been teaching to seal and be big, right? Same as Canada. So from the younger levels, you'll see even the USHL, there were 8 goalies drafted in the first round. Guess how many were American? Any guesses? 1 from our national development program. Other 7 were Europeans. Right? So if we can incorporate our goalies using our hands a little more, being athletes first and not goalies, just blocking, we're going to be on a better track. Pretty good there. Are there any questions? Okay, so sliding. Get the sliding. What do you look for? So I always say spine. I always talk about spine angle. So imagine this is his spine. He's really straight upright right now. Push to that puck. Keep your spine upright. It's okay, right? It's an okay slide. There's nothing wrong with it. Go back. Now I want you to lean. Don't push yet, but just lean into that puck. So his spine angle changes. His head's leading, his hands are leading. Now push. It's all your skates, dude. Try it again. Hard push. Lean in, hard push. Go back. Another teach. Start your push, but don't push. Stop. No, don't push. Start your push. Start your push, don't push. Coil. So I call this a coil, right? So he's looked, he's leaned, and now he's coiled. So that's so recovery and slides, that's what I kind of teach. It's you look, you lean, you coil, you push. His coil is not good enough right now. You can tell he didn't get a hard push. The reason why is because his foot is under his hip. And he's using only his toe of his blade. I can limit, go back to how you were. I can fit my skate blade under his blade. That's not good enough. That's not a powerful push. Come on. He's pushing off his toe. If I can do this, this is an issue. The reason why is you guys, even players, do you get your power from your toes or your heel? Heel, right? Full blade. Put your full blade on the ice, get under your hip. Push. Right? A little more efficient than this pushes, but it starts with that look, lean, and then coil. The coil is the part where the kids mess up. A lot of them want to be lazy, just use that toe. Make them use the full blade. Go back. You'll see a lot of goalies do this. Right? So everyone thinks this is a good butterfly because I have flare, right? I'm going to take up net if we can. We have flare low. It should be in a good position. But we're not because we're wide. Anything we do in goaltending, especially on the ice and our down movements, we have to be compact. If I tell this goalie to move to his left, what he's going to have to do is touch his knees, coil, and then he's going to have to push. Go wide again, try and push. He has to get back to being compact. So anything we do in our down movements, we should be compact. It's easier for them to push. Let's see your goalies getting lazy or not sliding efficiently. You can look for, are they looking? Are they leaning? How's their coil? And are they spread? Are they spread out? Are they wide? Are they staying compact? So in this situation, if I see him doing this in practice, all I'm coming up to him and saying is, hey, stay compact. Push with your heels, stay compact. Right? And he knows I need to plant my full blade, and I need to make sure all my limbs are compact. Does that make sense? Any other questions about sliding? We good there?
What's the best younger kid sliding drill I can do?
For the younger kids?
Yeah. For like 14 and down. So we did the skating warm up.
Yep.
Now I want them to warm up just doing their slides.
Yep.
Is there a specific? So right after they're done skating, we do a slide drill that focuses on.
So if you have younger kids, for me, it's all about giving them an object to shoot for. It's always giving them a visionary, right? You can't just say slide to the dot. You can't say just slide to your right. So if you wanted to, if I had two pucks here, right? I'm gonna have a puck here. You can have a puck here. Here, puck here, puck here. Who knows what square is? Who knows how to teach if you're being square or not to your shooter? Nobody? This goalie's square. Why not?
Left leg behind his right leg.
So what I teach is our toes, hips, shoulders, and hands need to be square. What I mean by that is to square up. So now you can tell his feet are in line with his hips, also are in line with his shoulders, and his hands are in a good position. So now he's square. So if you see your goalie, right, doing one of these, trying to take a shot, they're not square. They might get beat right to the far side. That'll make more sense once we go down to the crease, and I'll show you guys why that's efficient. Square. Let's just slide to that. Slide. Try it again. Back and forth a couple times. Anybody find anything wrong with that after we've just talked? What about his eyes? I want you to track down on top of that puck and lead with your head. Track down and lead. Is that good enough? No. When I say track down and lead, I should be here and literally leading here. Go. Right? It gets a little more speed and a little more power if we just lead with our head.
Slight difference from deep push, right? You don't want him to, that pass is just going.
So you're staying square. So when we slide, we do this, we cannot get down. Right? And that's why I don't really like, so for the 14 and up, that's how it's different, but I don't like T pushes in general. And I'll show you guys something different, but if I'm sliding, my toes need to stay up ice. And I'm just planting this pad from here. Right? I'm in a position here, I lead with my head, and I'm biting. We call this biting our edge. What happens with a lot of kids, if they get lazy, there's something you can look for. Say, have Barrett right here. Shaz, you want to pass Barrett a puck? So as that passes you there, when you catch it, I want you to go to your backhand, like I'm in the net. Okay? So as I pass here, oh, I slipped. Right? A lot of kids will get in that habit. So what happens is I call it bite. Right? Bite your edge, push back. Bite your edge and stop so you're staying in position. So do the same exact thing. So as I'm here, I can slide, catch my edge, and back into this. Biting your edge. That's a big verbiage, something I use for them just stopping, essentially stopping themselves, but it's easier to say bite your edge. Come down, two little words, make sure that's right. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
So what about, I guess when I was down by the net, like the post, you bite your edge on the floor like you guys do across the net sometimes. Is that utilized for that, or are they still using the edge?
So you're actually going to use your toes.
Yeah.
You're going to use it as a tool. So what I'll teach you, we'll go down here in a second and we'll go through our ABCs of depth. Because like we said, get out, right? Get out, cut down the angle, right? There's situations we don't need to do that. And I'll put you guys on the M boards and I'll show you in a little bit, but the net's a tool. Play inside of our net, use the net to push, use the net to stop ourselves. The last thing we want to do is turn a 6x4 into an 8x4 because we're over sliding and over playing pucks. Now it's harder to get back to make that second save like we talked about earlier. Does that make sense? Are there any questions with this? Are there any questions about warm-up skating and how much they should be doing it?
Every practice.
Every touch.
What, how much time did you say about?
3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5?
That's all it should take.
Okay.
Anything else? We're moving to recoveries. How many of you are comfortable with knowing to look for in recoveries? What do you look for? What's the first thing you look for?
Looking to the puck, where the rebound is. Leading with your hands, moving your hips, slide the puck.
Okay. Anybody else? What do you look for?
Tracking.
Tracking?
Tracking the puck for recovery.
Yep. What about after the tracking?
Like movement.
What in the movement? What particularly? Break it down for me.
Like
So
squared
if
up.
I'm tracking, right?
Squared up to it.
So what's my next movement?
Like squared up to it.
Square up to it.
Okay. I know what you're after.
Head. Right?
Move.
We talked about it earlier in the slides.
The coil. Coil.
Well, I missed a couple steps. So tracking, so look, right? Look.
Yep.
Am I leaning?
No.
No, right? I lean into it. Coil. Or recover. Always to your feet. Push. Right? Recovery should always be to our feet. Recovery should never end underneath. Recover literally means to get back to the start. Right? Or redo it. We always want to get back to the feet in recovery. If you see a goalie slipping, sliding around, just go over and say, hey, recover to your feet. Recover to your feet. We're more mobile on our feet. We're in a better position on our feet. We can make more plays on our feet. We have more safe selections on our feet.
Do that one more time. Step. We'll probably get this written down.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm here. We're recover to this puck.
Look.
Hold on. Talk me through it.
Look. Lean. Coil. Push. Recover.
Awesome.
Was that 4?
What? 4 minutes? Look.
Sorry. Being is wrong info.
Gotta say it at the end.
You're right.
So here's a simple drill. If you have 2 goalies, I want you guys to see one here, usually what I do is put the older kids in front so the younger kids can watch them. One right here. Other fly. Always going to recover to our feet in this drill. We got it? Look. Lean. Coil. Push. Is that a recovery to your feet or is that a slide? Is that a slide? Yeah, try it again. Where are you going? Face forward. Slow it down. Look. Lean. Coil. Push. Back to your feet. Now the slide first, right? Legs work doing the T-push. Try it again. Try it again. Down. Look. Lean. Coil. Push. Good. Down. Look. Lean, coil, push. Good. So what they did is, because they stay with me a lot, it's an elite level of, not elite, but it's a progression of the recovery. And I'll show you guys because I just did it. Basically what I call it is, it's a back leg recovery. And the reason, it's efficient when we're going to our post, right? So if I'm here, instead of trying to T-push into my post, this is what's going to happen a lot. I'm here and I recover to my post. Right? I might hit my toe. A lot of you guys have probably seen the younger kids. They hit their toe. They maybe hit it to get off the balance. They might end up inside their net just because the toe's pointed at their post. So what I've been showing him and him is our back leg recovery. We're going to our post, same steps. All we're doing is getting up with the opposite leg first. So I'm here, lift, lean, coil, push. I can slide, I'm going to slide, and I'm going to keep this leg up. I'm going to basically backwards T-push. I'm going to open my hip. So when I push, I'm up, and my heel will be flush against that post. Does that make sense? And I'll show you.
Makes sense, man.
Yeah, I'll show you on the net. Okay, so let's go down to the net.
This could be posted anywhere. I'll put it on my website and maybe put it on the HC's website. I'll get all you guys' info from Sarah. Give me a couple of days. Yeah.
So these are quick anchor pegs. They're a great tool, especially when you're coach goalies, to have in your bag. They're about $250, but it's a great investment. The reason why is we teach more with these, and they save our goaltenders' edges. Instead of using these things, we're going to push off. Put some weight on it, get into the ice. Make it a little more sturdy than this. So I'll show you guys what I meant by that recovery. So if you guys want to get on this half, I'm going to use this bolt. So what happens a lot of times is I make this save here, puck ends up right in the corner. Make this same puck ends up in the corner, recover. And now I'm not in a good spot. And now I have to that back leg recovery. Here, save, and I'm going to slide, and I'm going to hit my heel to puck. Now I'm keeping this hip closed, and I'm not having to point that toe. Does that make sense? It's a little weak, but I'm only showing you because these two don't did it when I told them they were covered. Any questions on it? Okay, so who knows the ABCs of depth? Anybody?
Aggressive, basic, conservative, and deep.
Or what?
Aggressive, basic, conservative, and deep.
Defensive.
Defensive.
Here's your aggressive. base. Here's your conservative. This is the easiest way instead of telling the goalie to get out, right? Instead of saying get out and be big. Maybe they get deep here, they're at a conservative depth, and you say, man, maybe you should have been at a base depth. One C cut out, right? One skate plate out. Now we're at a base depth. Aggressive depth. Base, conservative, defensive is right on the ball. Who thinks they know when we should be in a defensive depth?
Right.
What?
Right.
Puck's behind the goal line.
What?
Puck's behind the goal line.
Puck's behind the goal line, I'm at my defensive depth. How about a conservative depth? Who thinks they know when we should be at that?
Puck's in tight.
No.
Oh, you need to score right.
Below the dots?
What?
Below the dots?
No.
Never?
Nope.
Puck's in green.
Nope.
Top of the serve.
Nope. Bad angle shots, right? So anything from the dot to the board. I always say be at a conservative depth. The reason why, you see a lot of kids out here. How much net do you see? How much net do you see? How much net do you see? Okay. Going down. On the heart? So say I make a save and that puck goes back door, or that play goes back door. Okay, how much room I have to cover? Each save is going to be harder. Correct. Right. I can see your angle of work. Playing that conservative. Right? So here I have the same coverage. It's not what we see, it's what the puck sees. The puck has a very different view than what a player can see. I don't care what player can see a net. If I'm square with the puck, you should be able to see. The puck can't see that. Does that make sense? So I'm here in conservative depth versus the base depth. Say that play is made back door. Now I have a shorter distance to get back to my post. Versus being out here on top of my crease, now I have to cover the full length of the crease. So maybe saying get out and be big isn't the best situation. Bad angle shots, I don't want you to be big and be out. I want you to get a conservative depth, so now you're able to make that move east to west and puck over. Or throw a rebound save. So I'm out here, make a rebound save right to the middle. I have to now turn and go back to the middle of my crease versus in here, where now I can come into my shot.
So this is relative to somebody that's just winding up over there.
Yep.
For a
So
shot.
you always see that.
It's not a guy coming in with speed.
Nope,
You wouldn't.
same thing.
So even if a guy's coming in with speed, you wouldn't want to get out and match. So you say a guy's coming down, almost half breakaway down the side wall. Would you start at C?
If it's a breakaway, it's different, right? This is I'm talking about zone entries. It is a bad angle shot.
Just a bad angle.
It's a bad angle shot on zone entry. Or even the guys with flank and a power play shoots. Right? Breakaways are different, obviously. You want to come out and get at a base step at this angle. Right? And now we're going to play with, I always call it play with flow. Right? We should never be stagnant on a breakaway. Always want to have that backbone. And it's not this. You see a lot of kids do this. Right? C cut back to the net. What happens? When I C cut once, now I'm not square. When I C cut twice, I'm not square again. Imagine how many of you fish. A lot of you probably fish on a boat, right? So imagine a boat with no paddle. Just kind of drift. Like stay square but you drift. I always say, let some flow, let some drift. So I'm not C cutting anything. I'm just literally putting my weight from my toes to my heels. I'm just drifting back. Stay square, I make move if I need to, and I have speed to get back. Does that make sense?
It's a good situational too. You have a guy outside in the bad angle, and you have a guy driving the net. You want to be conservative, right?
You want to be conservative.
You know the chance that you get.
So to go on top of that, so say a guy's driving in the middle. What do you guys tell your goalies to do if they get beat on a tip or beat on a backdoor goal? What's the first question you guys ask?
Teach it out.
Zone entry, puck gets kicked out wide, past the dot lane, coming in a bad angle, middle lane drive, hits the guy in the middle for a tap in. What's the first question we're asking our goalies? What? Yeah. Stick? Did we head check? Did you head check? What information did you take in? A head check is simple. Have you in the middle here? post up for a one-time. Same pass is coming from coach. So if I head check, right, and I know this is going to be a one-timer, my route should not be to my back post. If I end up on my back post, I have a lot of net to shoot at. Right? But if I can read he's setting up for a one-timer and get a conservative depth, my route has to be out to a base depth. Like that. Come from the middle and just drive middle lane. But have your stick like the back of the backhand and tip it in. So now if he comes here, a head check, I see his stick. Now I know I can try to get to my phone. Right? Versus coming all the way out here. If that happens in the game, you guys need to ask your goalie, did you head check? If you head check and say yes, say what information did you take in? To your righty or to lefty? Right? That terminology, head check. Any rush drill you guys do when you're at the board talking to your team, you're doing a 3-on-2 zone entry, say goalie, make sure we're managing our depth and we're using our head checks. Taking information. And they go, what information? Righty or lefty, where's the open guy? You guys can be ahead of the play. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? The head check.
I learned something.
Okay. Any other questions about the position you guys are still like you haven't covered? I'm trying to go through the checklist. How about giving your time, the goalie time to recover on drills? How many of you are thoughtful about that? Got it. Okay. How many shots are too many shots?
One of them not ready for the last one. Shots,
You guys like, what are ways to like incorporate both, right? We want to give goalie time, but we also want it to be more game-like, feel-like, where it's, you know, we allow them to play it out, right? If you want to go to a certain part of the net, not just in the corner, and you got that goalie, you need to recover, that player is tapped out. We're going to get the goalies into our practice. I know you can see it being take a little bit more time. Come on, guys, take a little bit more time. But finding a way, it's adding both, right? The offensive side, we're going to score, and the goalies, will need help.
So, one of the drills I love that girls did at UAA, you're going to laugh right now, 3-on-0. 3-on-0 warm-up drill. We had guys with left wing, center, right wing. Worked on our zone entry. First route was center lane drive, attack the D, kick it to the winger on the left side, on the right side, or wherever you're standing. And then it's a bad angle shot with 2 guys driving. That is a great drill for goalie. It's not too many passes, right? They're not tic-tac-toeing in front. Yeah, it's a 3-on-0, but it's a controlled 3-on-2 controlled environment. Right? So now your forwards are learning how to create a zone entry, how to basically attack a D, kick it wide, and then create that 2-on-1 on the zone entry. Goalies are learning how to read, head check, and also control this rebound. Right? One shot. Maybe you want to do retrievals. Maybe you want to do something in the neutral zone where it's a counter. You have forwards in the corner, right? F1, you come up above the circle, shot. Wait for the goalie, first whistle. Second whistle, F2, D to D, the shot. Now we're working on screens and tips, and we're also giving the time goalies to recover to their feet because you're blowing the whistle. It's not F1 goes, the shot's taken, F2 goes. F1 goes, wait, whistle, F2. Let the goalie get back to his post. Play it live. Right? F3, up, up. He comes up, hit F3 through the middle. It's a shot with 2 guys in the middle. Right? But in the neutral zone, the D have to go back. The forwards are going up. It's a counter. The wings tagging up. Your center supporting. The weak side winger stretching. That D can make a decision, and then to get a 3-on-0, tell your players the rules. You can't pass more than twice. Right? Maybe it has to be a bad angle shot.
How many shots do you see in the shot?
I would say 5. Anything more than 5, we're asking too much in one drill. Right? Think about how many times there's a butterfly during that one sequence. 5 butterflies. You do it 5 times. That's 25 butterflies for your goaltender. That's why goalies have that hip surgery at 21 years old. good there. Is there anything else? So how about a breakout? Breakout drill, right? The 3 guys, you got 2D on the opposite side. How many of you guys think about rimming a puck? How many of you guys think about rimming a puck off both sides?
He made me.
Good. How many of you guys think about dumping it on your goaltender? You guys know what to tell them. You guys have verbiage for your team, your goalie to communicate. You guys have any verbiage for that? I'm curious, because I know what I use, but I'm just curious that you guys use something else.
Verbiage for what?
Goalie goes to play a puck behind the net and stops a rim. What are your team doing?
Set.
Making him close off.
Convert it like set the puck.
Like, so what are they telling their goalie to go? So I go back and stop the puck. You're my defenseman. I stop it here. What do you tell me? You want the puck?
Yeah, I mean, based on what you set it, need it. Need it down the way.
What do you say?
What?
What do you say?
Same side, over, leave it, hard. So same side is the side the puck's dumped on, that'd be your same side. So you dump the puck and you're defenseman, and I go back and stop this puck here, you go same side, bam, right? Right? Maybe Merritt wants it. I go back and stop this puck, I hear over, down, bam. Maybe I go stop the puck, and forecheck the 2 guys hard on both sides of the fence. Now I hear hard, as a goalie, we're pitching at it in glass and trying to get it around and out. If I hear leave it, this is one of the things you guys can say to goalies. If I hear leave that puck, is that good enough?
No, it's not words.
Tired, right? I always say, understand what hand your defense is. There it's a left-handed shot. If I hear leave it, I'm putting it close to the net. Pick up on his forehand and he can take a play. Coach Fournier's coming on the same side, he's a righty. I'm putting it just off the board. Pick it up on his forehand and take a play. So that's something you can kind of keep the boys honest with. Leave it, they should know what hand. Right? What hand the defense is. Have that information. They should be smart enough to do that. You guys know what to look for if the goalie goes to stop him. No? Come down here. Guys, come down here. Not good enough. In your guys' mind. Not good enough. Go back to how you were. Is that good enough? In your mind. Like, are you okay with it?
Stop it.
Yep. Why not?
Body's not throwing.
Right? Eager to last with half the best ice.
Yep.
Especially after 2 periods. Pucks and up over still. Control. Is this good enough?
He's angling. Pick out.
So, front leg needs to be in front to create that angle. Stick to be against the pad. The reason why is because now if I put it, it's just going to down. As soon as I open my hips like this, so you guys can see, if I'm like this, it's going to hit and bounce. That just pulls it off and I can throw the play. That makes sense. That's something that's important. The backhand. Always the debate. That is not good enough. We'll go back to how you were. The reason why is because that puck, they gets rimmed. Now we're not in a good spot. I'm a big fan of one hand on the stick on the backhand, and I'm here and I'm watching. If I see that puck starting to gain speed, now I can have my butt on the boards. If it's around the boards, right? If it's not, and I say I catch it in the backhand here, stick has to be at least mid or behind the center of my body. It cannot be in front or else it's going to kick out. Mid or behind. If I hear same side, now it's a one-handed pass. If I hear over, now I'm just adjusting and making a play. Does that make sense? Everyone good on that? Awesome.
What do you like for small areas? You're talking about like zone entry and stuff like that. But like a younger age, what's like a good drill for our goaltenders in a small area?
So here's the reason why you guys are going to do everything. Throw small area games, do 45 minutes of skill, flow, come back to the small area game. Net on the surface. One of you guys should have one of those markers with the rope. I don't, because I've done this for so long. Here, give my boys a crease. Right? Now it doesn't matter what small area game you do. What matters is you have a crease. I cannot ask somebody to do a job without having the tools to succeed. I'd never ask a player to score a goal without a net. Never ask a goalie to make a save without a crease. It's not fair. Does that make sense? So to answer your question, any small area game is great. How many of you have goalies that have a tough time starting games? Give up weak ones, first minute of the game, every time. Youth hockey, it happens. Right? Maybe it's a trend, right? 3 or 4 games, man, we're down by 1 every first 2 minutes of every game. What's something we can do to change that? What's something we can do to change that? In our practice plan. Everything else is great. Your PP is good, your PK is great, your D zone's good, but your goalie's giving up weak ones every first 5 shots of the game. Start with a small area game. We're going. We're on the ice, we're going. 3 to 5 minutes warm up and skating, we're going. Right? Challenge them. So I'm not like don't do small area games fast. No. Challenge them.
Well, like I guess my thought is like, a lot of our small area games include 6, 7, 8 shots where, if we're doing some of these drills or rebounds and things like that, and I just don't want to overwhelm them. And there's drills certainly that we do that with. Is that okay from time to time? I mean, the one where we flip the net around here and kids are literally getting 6 shots in a small area.
Yeah, so I would stay away from anything like where it's like an un-game realistic. Right? And that's facing the board and you're having a guy bounce off and you have 2 guys shooting against the board. It's not really fair to board, it's not really game realistic. Right? So 3-on-2s, 3-on-2 carry out. You have the nets back to back. Like the Lindstrom game, you have the 2D at the top and they're firing 4-on-4 forwards. They have to kind of run a team that's 2D or a team that's 2 forwards. You know what I mean? So anything game realistic is what I like to do with the goalies. I would never have a 6-second shot game or something. And the one I hate, all right, full ice, here's 3 pucks. That's just not fair. Goalie's making a save here, but you have a guy coming down here. It's just not realistic. Right? So 1 puck, game realistic, and you can get guys involved for sure. But let's not, like you said, overwhelm the goalie with 6 or 7 shots, 6 or 7 different pucks. You know what I mean? Is there any other questions on that? Anything I haven't covered that you guys were hoping to get more knowledge on? How many of you guys coach 14 and over? How many of you guys coach 14 and over? Sorry, that's like 5 minutes. 5. How many of you guys go to RBHs?
Got that new style thing, the goaltender.
On the post, right?
Yeah.
See your goalies do it all the time?
Well, we started, didn't we? What?
RBH. So I'll show you.
Isn't that like a bad word in some goaltending?
RBH. This coaches, I think 12 units and under. Your goalie should never be in this position. Bad for the hips, and they're not big enough. So, right now,
Where would you have it instead of this? Over that river. So 12U and below until they're about. Okay.
So, the reason why we're in this isn't the way to do it. So here's some things to look for when they're doing this position. I'm big on knee angle. I'm big on knee angle. So if we draw a line, that very line post out. Right? Your knee should not be equal to that angle. The reason why, if I tell Jag to get across his net, go across, it's hard for him to get there. Okay, go back. The other thing he's not doing is have his toe on the post. So flush. Keep your knee angle below 90. Push through your shoulder. Now go press. Use your net to push there. Try it again. The whole body. Again, same side, this side, this side, this side. So, he's not really efficient in this movement. He's going to need to work on it for sure. But, get up. If I'm here, right, my hips are square at this angle. The threat's probably here because the puck's behind the net. I cannot cover anything here unless I rotate, get my hips square, and then start my push. Even though below 90, right up here, use my whole body to push. So as I push, I'm going to use my forearm, my toes, and my shoulder to get across. And now I'm in here. Same thing on this side. Head leads, shoulder, forearm, toe. And I can transfer across. I cannot do that if my knee is at this angle. If I push from here, now I'm pushing out, not getting across.
So what's the theory behind why this isn't good for kids under a certain age?
Hips.
So you have to wait for them to develop?
Wait to develop, get the strength. A lot of kids wouldn't be able to do it.
So what you just showed there, essentially for our 10Us, 12Us, any age below that, what are we looking at in that same sequence, like trying to do, but rather than the RBA?
This is called a PH. Tell me about that. So RVH is reverse vertical horizontal. That's what it stands for. Reverse vertical means my back leg's vertical, this front leg's horizontal. VH, vertical horizontal. My lead leg is vertical, my back leg is horizontal. Kids in that age group can be here, with my hands in front of my pad, not back here, when I do the neck, right? They're very little. Sticks out in front, and now from here I'm able to push and get across. It's not bad on my hips, they're not sitting down in an awkward spot, right? Human body shouldn't be doing that position. So from here, I can be able to go. So that's the alternate, is the BH. So basically one knee down, same leg up. Inside knee down.
Is it hard to get them once they get to 14 to get them to change that movement?
That's like anything, repetition. Repetition. So is this a good BH? After riding 6 minutes. Why not?
Right, like kind of behind him.
Still your knee. What happens is a lot of kids put their glove behind the pad, like you had it. And now you have a little bit of that. A lot of kids that age are not going to hit that spot, right? However, this is the proper position, glove needs to be right in front. If they add that extra, whatever, 6 to 8 overlap. So younger and the older goalies, right? Say there's a bad angle shot, they want to go on RVH. Absolutely not. There should be an overlap. Skate overlaps the post. Show that overlap. Overlap the post. Now I can play it true. If I need to get back in, simple skating.
Oh, is that your C depth? Like when you're in that kind of a situation? Bad angle shot?
Well, this would be my defensive.
Yeah.
This is my C, but I'm still in an overlap. Right?
Oh, okay.
Still in an overlap, still over my post. Defensive, conservative, base, aggressive. Still overlap. But this is a better situation to be in. If shots coming from there, then you see a lot of teams being here. Now if that pass is made east to west, they can't get back to their feet. Or if that shot's taken, saved, and they're out of it. Right? Anything on that?
So how do you go from the VH here
Yep.
and seal your post on the other side to the VH?
Right, so you go right into that shuffle. Very simple. Just keeping your hips square.
Okay.
If you're in the VH and it comes to those goal lines, do you change it all?
What?
If you're in the VH, and it comes below the goal line, then you
Right back to my
change?
feet.
Okay.
Right back to my feet.
So you're not down, like,
So always, this is safe selection. RVH and VH, they're safe selections. They're not things. They're not things to sit in. Like a butterfly, pucks are here. And you'll see kids. You can sit in a butterfly and have active hands, right? That's fine. But we should not be sitting in a VH or RVH. There should be a reaction. So I treat it as a
so if the puck is behind the net, you're up at all times?
in the situation. So if I had Barrett here, right?
So if I'm behind the net with the puck, Barrett's there, are you up?
I from 14
Yeah.
up, right? I'll be here. That pass is made, right?
How about first? Saw that book, right? And then the same thing if I come this way, across.
Well, it's situational. If Barrett's here and you're over here, I'm staying here.
At what point do you actually turn your head though? And at what point, like I'm here, will you decide that you're going to go from that post looking at me to over this way? Is that just
So, personal preference, I would never look over this shoulder by the line.
okay?
Because I have my seal, I know I have my seal off. So make that quick play and I'm here. Here, I can get right back to my feet. Put the puck back. As soon as you put the draw, wait. You attack the net. Here, I can start back. Right? Or if I see Barrett change sides, right? Stay here, there. I see Barrett change sides. Now I know I can go and see it. Cut off this pass.
Would you save it? Would you save it?
Yeah, so it's that no goalie, right? How Peterson and Jonathan Quick, they're slated to the rafters. So it's their personal preference. The rules don't change. I'm not gonna turn my head. I'm not gonna. I would say touch before you turn. Transfer it, right? And a lot of guys will come down and change direction. If I'm here, right? I see that guy going. I'm gonna try to come before I get to turn my head. Or anything else?
Do you encourage the 10 and 12s to stay up more? Once they're down, it seems like they're flopping around and they're tired, but it's not every second they're down.
I always encourage them to work on the game.
I mean, there's the times when they're not every shot, right? Thanks, Speedy. I appreciate it.
I hope this helped you guys at all.
Yeah.
all we talked about. Write it down. Pass it on.
So I'll post this video. I'll make sure Barrett gets you links. We talked about terminology. I don't think you have to worry about it. I'll go through the video and I'll try to tag it where we talk about the VH, the RBH. We'll see what we can do with that. So you just watch the video. Okay?
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Eric.